This morning, I sent out a clip concerning a blind man who was involved with the construction of the concrete road from the temple to the exit of the main road, the Goi's temple. So the essence of the message is very simple. When I first saw this blind man, he was wandering in the village where I stay. He was blind. I thought he was handicapped, just doing nothing because he's just blind. But it was untrue. Every time when the village water supply has been shut down because of the, what we call that, forest rain. The rain is so, the water is so strong. So all the mud sometimes will choke up all your pipe. And you need to discharge from the check valve to flush out all the mud that is choking the pipe. And it was raining season. So I went up to clear the pipe. And you know who I met? I met this blind man. I was so shocked. I was expecting some normal person come from the village to come and do the work. But it was this blind man. And the terrain was very dangerous because you only have one small walking path. On the left-hand side is a very steep slope, trip and fall, and that's it. You can drop at least 10 to 20 meters down the hill. And full of leeches. So I was shocked when I saw him. I said, how you find your way to this water path? He said that I feel when people do the piping their tongue, I also participated. I may not be able to see, but I want to help whatever I can help. So I said, how you help? He said, I help when they want to do the joint, I help to carry the pipe. So that really impressed me. I said, a blind man, even he's blind, but you look at his spirit, his heart, his intention, also want to help. And that was the first incident I have encountered with him during the Vasa. And got one time I saw him coming to the temple to help me to chop the wood. I thought, what? And let me tell you, this blind man got special skill. So I was so worried that he will let the act on his own feet. But no, to my surprise, he got his trick. I said, how you do it? I said, better don't chop, you're going to chop your own feet. He said, don't worry, Ajahn. I did this so many times. And he used his hand to feel the shape of the wood first. And then he put one nail. He hit a nail on the center. And then he every time go that time, his axe will hit will go near the nail and kick, and he snap, pum, and the wood split into two. I said, wow. And I was so impressed with this blind man. Is when we are doing the road, he walked all the way out 7 kilometers. No one assists him. And to my surprise, he was using his hand to what you see in the clip this morning that I sent. We were from far, we saw him. Since when this blind man came? So we filmed it. We filmed the whole thing and I walked to him. So I talked to him. I said, hey, since when you are here? He said, I come here, but nobody knows. So I come to this path. I don't expect this kind of thing to happen. A blind man. So further conversation with him, he said that because I lack of goodness in my past, that's why in this lifetime I'm born blind. I still lack a lot of goodness. That's why I must accumulate goodness. And that really struck my heart. I said, wow. You see, the words of wisdom from a blind man. Whereas nowadays people with good eye, everything good, but they are living in the life of negligence. They take life so lightly. Everything they encounter in their life, they just give up their hopes, they get demoralized so easily. And with this blind man, and with all this kind of things that we go through in life, that's why there's a saying in Chinese, they say, 富贵修行难. 富贵 means what? 富贵 means fortune. I mean, you're too fortunate. When you are too overwhelmed protected, the practicing of the Dharma will be harder. Why? Because there's no challenge. There's nothing to put you in threatened stage. That your mind got to be on guard for your own practice. That's why exposing to harsh conditions, sometimes people will say that, why should we put ourselves in the kind of conditions? Why should we go through the kind of hardship? We don't have to. We got to, practice according to what's coming up. And are we progressing? And the answer is no. Because you need some kind of a lean and mean condition to discipline the mind. Because the mind need to be disciplined. Because normally our mind is very arrogant. You see, he like to live the way he want to be. And like, for example, things that go in line with what the defilement like. Not what the Dharma expected us, what the defilement like. And this is why we can't improve ourselves. We can be since like meditating, but we're sitting there daydreaming, thinking of this, thinking of that, planning this, all the while planning. And we thought that this is meditation. No, this is involvement with thinking. It's planning, and it's not a kind of meditation that's going to cut down our birth in our future life. It will be in the round and round and round, more birth, aging, illness, and death. More life, birth, die, birth, aging, illness, dying. The circle of the samsara keep going. It's unlike meditation on relinquishments. You see, recollection of the body, on what we call death. That today we have this old lady, and a lot of people is dying, and we only acknowledge that someone died, and that's it. We never acknowledge it. What happened if I die now? Are we ready to go anytime? Is our mind ready? You see, that's why when we get involved with someone dying, sometimes it's good that we visit dying people, sick people, so that it gives you a break, something to refer to that, life is so uncertain. Life is just at a transit point. This body of ours that we see through this physical form is just a delusion. It's just something not real. It's a composition of the four elements. And if we break out, it's something that's going to rot away and nothing to be worthy to hold on to. If we can contemplate to this refined stage into our mind, and when the mind starts to accept the truth, and this is the truth, but it's just that our stubborn mind don't accept. Our stubborn mind only accept things that we like, we think that is true. But all these we call it fate. They are not the truth. But because we are human beings, it's just not 100 years old. This is a transition for us to accumulate whatever goodness. This is a transition for us to go through, to study what is life, what is called impermanent. Is it impermanent? You see, we got to look at it into this thing. Is it impermanent? You got to ask yourself, is it impermanent? Is it you, your, he, she? Where does it come from? You see how our mind attached to this kind of form. First time, second time, or third time of contemplation, you can't penetrate into the mind because the mind is so stubborn. You got to go every time you meditate, keep contemplating, until the mind can really see through, really accept it. Oh yeah, you can see the difference, the likeness of the mind when you start to contemplate into this kind of form, and the mental formations, feelings, all this kind of thing, the five khandhas. Then you can see through and through. If not, it's very hard. And we thought that this knowledge that we study is it's just knowledge. It's not the real thing. You can get forgotten sometimes. Sometimes you can just forget when you too long never recollect, too long never remind yourself. We can get lost. Get lost in our own mental formations, in the way the supposition of the world drag us in those things that we over involve, and our mind been dragging because of something. We get so involved that we forgot to recollect, and this is where we gotta get trapped. It's very, very important. Not like someone when he passed away. I saw a monk on a sick bed when I was in Mysore. Monk, he got malaria and he before he died. He don't want to die. He hold on to the sister's hand and he cried like a small boy like that. And then cry until the body give way. His sound get softer, and he pass off. He passed away in front of me because I was looking after my friend who is also malaria. But because we are meditating monk, we never cry. But this monk, he's from the Burmese side. Because Mesot is near the border, so a lot of Burmese people come over here for treatment. Any kind of they have an agreement, the government agreement, so the Burmese people can come for treatment also, and it's on humanitarian ground. What I'm trying to say is that you look at the aspect, even monk, and I feel so sorry for him that wow, he's not old, he's about maybe 40 plus. But he was green already when he was brought in the night before he died. He was already whole body green already. I look at him, I never see a green color people already. I saw Lord, green, yellowish like that, like a dying person but haven't died. But he keep crying. He don't want to die. And finally he died. And I see when his mind is not ready, he can't accept that he's going to die. Why I want to bring out all this type of matters? Because it acts as a reminder. Because we are people, we are human beings, we are subject to this same kind of happening in no time to come, but in another form. Because we have different karma, each person we will go through this passing off in a different way. But it just remind, as a human being, try to practice as much as possible, right? Instilling mindfulness in your daily life as much as possible, right? Repeat the word Putto to guide your mind. If not, all these troubling thoughts, all this thought, this undisciplined thought, unwise thought will take over your mind, and your mind will be always being taken over by all this kind of thing, and it is not healthy for yourself because it will hinder our practice in the mental development to eradicate our greed, hatred, and delusions. And you find yourself very unhappy all the time because if you have all this kind of thought keep going through our mind, it's interesting, but it is not the path. It's the path of fire. Why I say fire? Because we never been cooled down all the way, all the time is hitting. This is no good. We must practice how to calm ourselves down at will. One thought moment, you just focus and the mind just stop. And that should be the way. Because we have so much time in the temple. Even though we have certain chores, we do our chores very mindfully. Very mindfully we do it. And you see this mental movement inside our mind. When things doesn't get into our way, how our mind react. And how our mind want to retaliate when certain issue has been challenged. How we react this mind. And when you can see this type of thing, this is what we are practicing. You see, this is informal kind of practice. And it's more interesting because why? Because people don't know you're practicing. You're only practicing because we know that, okay, when greed arises, you can subdue it. When hatred, jealousy arises, you can subdue it. When delusion arises, you know how to handle it. This is the practice. Of course, if we have a formal of sitting, doing everything together, when situation permit, then we will do that. Then if not, it's okay. You must train yourself to stay alone. When you're alone, how you practice. Like the old saying always goes, try to control our speech when we're staying with a lot of people. Control the way we associate with other people. Our speech. Control our speech. Because the speech will always offend people. When we are alone, we always control or watch over our mind state. Because every time your mind thinks of certain thing, you are always right. Especially when you are alone. Because you got no one to talk to. And the mind talk to yourself. Self-dialogue. And every time it's right only. Because no one to contest you. To say that you are wrong. Until you go out to the society, to a group of people stay together, then you will see that your true watercolor comes up. Then you can see all these weaknesses to reflect on. So it's always good to stay alone, stay with people, stay alone, vice versa, switch. Then you can see there's, we cannot always stay in the very quiet place and then you say their practice so good. But when you get involved with other people, you don't have to stay. The practicing of Dharma is what? All-rounder. Stay alone, also can stay. Stay with society, also can stay. Forest, no problem. City, no problem. Got food, no problem. No food, no problem. Come what may, take you on. That kind of attitude. Then you can practice everywhere you go. Not just you must cater this type of condition. There is a good place for practice. If not, no. You must put to test. That's why sometimes when crazy people come in, I don't want to chase them. We let them stay because it's a very good test for people to practice. And then you see people who practice, they get so agitated, get so angry, and how come the abbot don't do anything? Blah blah blah. I say, oh, you feel the test already because you cannot take the test. He said the crazy people because he's crazy. Why must he be affected by his craziness? Sometimes it's good to have crazy people to come to the temple to test people out. You see, they say, you try to protect the place, and he said, no, let the crazy people come. Then you can test individual practicing who got more endurance, who got more wisdom to work with their own mind. You can see when the crazy people come in, the whole temple will go haywire. Everybody will start complaining, blah, 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 blah. Then you see the one who keep quiet, who just look at herself or himself. They got no problem. They stay, they practice only because everyone got their own set of mind state. If you can be easily be tricked, moved by other people, then the practice is far away. But you can practice with crazy people and stay with the crazy people, but not move and don't behave like crazy people, you're on the upper hand. Okay? Upon.